Hello everyone, back again with another video. Like I promised, last video got a little more than 10 views in less than 2 days, so here we are, making a video on the PMG-1. I forgot the exact other designation for it, but I know originally it wasn't called just PMG-1, it was just PMG. It's some Russian acronym meaning like small gas mask or something like that. Just a quick background on the PMG. This thing was originally entered service, I think, in 1963, I believe. I can always double check and correct myself in the comments, but I believe it was 1963. These were intended to be used by like tankers, paratroopers, and like special units, stuff like that. For like they needed something compact, right? So I'll show you in a minute. I have some shirts tucked inside to keep it shape, but it's a nice compact, very lightweight respirator for the time. Alright, it's a helmet style mask, as you can tell by the fact that there's no straps on it. It's just, a rubber hood. Now, interesting thing about that means that it's a lot more comfortable to wear it like a helmet with a respirator like this, right? That's why they call it the helmet masks, right? Now, another thing about the PMG, right? These things I think they were replaced by the PMG-2 or GP5M, which is similar to a GP5. Just imagine a GP5. I'm sure most of you who've seen, or watching this video probably know what a GP5 is by now. You probably even know what this is, right? GP5, standard, like Soviet Union civilian protection gas mask, respirator, right? Whatever. It was one of those, but with a voice diaphragm on it, and I believe also had the vent holes in the carry handle thing as well up there. So that's what replaced it. Now, interesting stuff about this one, you can see it's got the binocular looking lenses there. That is used. That was designed to be easier to use optics with it, right? As well as being more compact too compared to the larger style GP5 lenses. Moving on over to the filter positioning, you notice the filters on the side, right? That's that way you can, if you're, most people right-handed, right? So you can shoulder your rifle here, and then also it's nice and compact so you can look down the sights a little easier with the forward-facing lenses. Opposed to GP5 style masks where the filter intake is like right in the front. That's gonna ding your respirator and your filter against your rifle if you're trying to use a rifle with that. Another thing, right, to mention, this one, right, like I said, these came out in the early 60s. This did 86. These were replaced, like I said, by the GP5M or the PMG-2, which was later replaced by the GP7 series of masks, like the PMK-1, the PMK-2, PMK-3, which I have one. I don't know if I made a video a while back. I don't know if it's still up. I might have to make a new video about that. However, PMG-3, which is still in service by Russia today, and I got one before the actual Ukraine war started. Not political or anything, just that's what happened. Not to mention they also have the PMK-4, but those things are super rare now. You're not going to get them in the United States anymore. If you do, you're very lucky, and you probably found one for a really expensive price that someone already had before that conflict started. Anyway, moving on. Another thing about the respirator here is because, sorry, didn't mean to bump the tripod, but anyway, another interesting thing about this respirator here, right, is you'll notice, all right, and I just have I have a modern filter under the filter sock. Don't worry. I'm not going to be using a GP5 filter. Not safe to breathe through. That's what came with this, is a GP5 style filter. Anyway, you'll notice right here, that's not metal like most of the other Soviet masks. That's rubber and kind of that entire thing's like a rubber assembly, maybe like a piece of plastic in there to hold its shape, but that is all rubber there, right? Now, over time, you can kind of see a little bit of where it's rotted away. Now, mine's in decent condition. Granted, it's got some sunspots on it. You can notice that by the brown areas, right? And I've cleaned this up pretty well. but it still has some damage on it. And also, I'm sorry if you hear any like random noises outside. They're doing some work on the house. Anyway, so moving on, right? You have inhale valve with a rubber filter intake assembly made for 40mm GOST. Alright, now, so over time, some of these won't be really useful to use. They're made of that old Soviet-style rubber. Now, these are hard to get nowadays, at least online. Either that or they're going to be a little expensive as far as budget masks go. These are going for like $80 now or more online. They're harder to get because, like I said, people used to buy a lot of these because they're cool collector's item now. And they look really cool. Like, I think these are, this particular respirator was used in, I think, one of the Call of Duty games, as well as, what was the other game? I don't think I've played the game. Maybe it's called Half-Life or something, or is Metro something? I don't know. Maybe, yeah, Metro Cop or something. I don't exactly know. I've never played those games. I know I've played Call of Duty, not the one that has this respirator. I've seen clips of games that have this. So it's pretty familiar with pop culture as far as video games go, potentially even movies. I don't know. I haven't seen any movies with this respirator. However, you can imagine if they ever had to use gas masks in the movie Red Dawn, the 1984 movie Red Dawn, this is probably something that would have been used. Granted, probably not at the time of filming because these were still in use by the Russian military, but this is a Russian one. Now, granted, keep in mind, another interesting fact about this respirator, the Russians also exported them to other Warsaw Pact countries, like, let's say, Hungary, right? Not only that, but Hungary made their own version of the PMG, which I forgot the name of, but it's a little different. You can tell the difference mostly by the front of the mask, where you'll have more holes that are smaller, and instead of having like a browner, tannish looking band here, made of plastic, it's like more of a whitish clear band made of plastic. Now, if you want me to make a video of me testing this respirator at some point, let me know. I will do so. Leave down in the comments below if you want to see me test this. And a few other remarks about this respirator. Voice diaphragm, it kind of sucks. It really does. It really sucks. And I can show you right now. It's literally, this is just a metal cover, a plastic O-ring, and a literal piece of clear plastic. That's all it is. It really does suck. It makes it really hard to hear yourself. Like, honestly, I think words would be clearer if you didn't have it, because it makes your voice sound so like vibrated, and it's ridiculous. Anyway, so there's some pros and cons about the the PMG. I'd say some pros, like I said, it's lightweight. I've actually, when I was wearing this earlier, I've noticed if you have the right size, and granted these fit a little bit small. I have a size 1. Should have probably gotten a size 2, but at the store I got these at, all the size 2s, for some reason, they were missing the voice diaphragms, and I was like, well, I don't want to get a size 3, that'd be too big on me, I didn't want to make a good seal, so I just went for a size 1. Which isn't too bad. These are made of very flexible rubber, as you can see here. They have these nice little thinner areas for your ears, so you can hear stuff better. So pros, lightweight, fairly breathable, right? You can breathe fairly well in this. I didn't have much air resistance with this more modern filter. Cons, they're getting older, they're getting harder to get, and they're also getting more expensive over time. It's one more pro, very clickable item, does look pretty cool. I'd say one more con, this respirator here, it's not the most comfortable, honestly. Like, I'd say as far as comfort goes, compared to, let's see here, I made a review on the MCU2AP. Compared to that respirator, let's say the MCU2AP, let's say like 10 out of 10 comfort is like, which I don't think I've tried one yet, but 10 out of 10 comfort is probably going to be like a Avon M50 or Avon FM53 or something like that, right? It's 10 out of 10. This is probably a 6 or a 7 based on lightweight and the soft rubber. Whereas the other masks that I've reviewed, I'd say, are more of like an 8, high 8, you know, between 8 and 9 as far as comfort goes with the right size. Granted, maybe it's because I got the wrong size, not exactly sure, but there's this little piece of plastic in here. I can show you. Well, it's hard to see because it's behind rubber, obviously, but if you see on the inside of the mask, right here, this piece right here, where the filter intake is, it's just not comfortable. It kind of sits up on your cheek and it kind of presses against your cheek. But if you get it positioned right, the mask isn't terribly uncomfortable. On the inside of the mask here, you can obviously see, got the lenses, which are kind of folding in on themselves because of the soft rubber. And then you can also see the Tissot tube system at blow air onto the lenses so they don't fog up. So it's actually not terrible in here. It's fairly comfortable. There's no oral nasal cup or anything, as it is a cheek filter mask. Not cheek filter mask. As it is a helmet style mask. However, the reason I said cheek filter mask was because I was also thinking of the Soviet PBF respirator, which I wish I could get one of those. If I ever get one, I'll make a review on that. I think they look cool. That's just my personal opinion. However, with the Soviet PBF, has more, the lenses face forward a little bit more, kind of like that, and it has a bigger voice diaphragm, like a smaller voice diaphragm, but it's got a combined voice diaphragm exhale valve assembly, as well as having cheek filters, right? But the interesting thing about that PBF is it's a helmet mask, but it has an oral nasal cup, which is a very interesting thing that you don't see in any other helmet style Soviet mask, right? Now that will be all the stuff I have to talk about. I've been talking for a good 12 minutes now, so I was told by a friend that my videos are too long, but whatever. I just try to cram as much information as I can about whatever I'm reviewing or talking about into the video, so you guys can learn something and you guys can enjoy it, right? Let me know if you want any more, if you guys want any like videos or anything, regarding respirators, let me know. And if you want me to start editing my videos more, like maybe like putting pictures up and stuff, I can try and do that more often. Now, granted, this is the end of the video, so disclaimer, I'm going to try and put a picture up of the respirators I mentioned. However, I don't know how well that's going to work. I only really use my phone to make these videos. Anyway, that being said, hope you guys have a great day. Hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to leave a like and comment on the video, letting me know any ideas, any comments, concerns about anything you have about the channel. I'll be sure to answer any questions you have. I usually, if not always, respond to my comments on my YouTube videos. So that being said, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.